Hello everyone, it's Pat at Beads and Plenty More, and today I'm going to talk about working with this white turquoise donut, and we're going to make a rose in the middle to fill in the hole in the middle, and then do a little bit of curls to decorate it. On this one I did the curls at the bottom, and on this one I took the curls to the top, so you can do either way. And and also did a little squiggles to tidy up the wires on this one. And oh, another thing on this one, the bottom wasn't sitting down nice and flat, so I bound the edges a little bit here so that we could get those nice and flat. Okay, so I'm starting with a new donut, and I'm working with artistic wire this time, 20 gauge, and I cut a piece that's 14 inches long, and that's what we're going to make the middle donut of. So starting, we turn the wire across itself and just bring it down to the middle here. This is going to be the very center of the rose, so we want to get that as small as we can, just a real tiny little center there. And then just run your fingers over this to straighten it a little bit, because it makes it a little bit easier to work with if it's not fighting against you. Okay, so let's get started on making the rose. We're going to wrap these wires around that center. Bring this one over, and the trick here is to always overlap first one side and then the other, and that creates the effect of the petals of a flower. So that's overlap this one first, and I bring this one around, and so this time this one will overlap. And again, you want to make sure that it's not always in the same spot, so that you get a little bit more variety. And I do use my pliers here to hold this a little bit tighter so that it's a little bit easier to work with. Just bring that over top like so. And I'm just going to continue around, trying not to make the cross in exactly the same spot each time. So this time this one went over, so this time this one will be the top one. Just cross them and bring it in, tighten that up a little bit there so that we get a nice look on the side. So this one was over, so this time this one will be the top. Gets a little bit easier as we do a little further along, because the very center is kind of tiny. So you can use your pliers to help you with the center, because we do want to keep that center fairly snug. So we're just going to proceed to make this as big as we need to cover the center of the rose, or the donut that we're working with. Well, I got that one overlapping a little bit too much. There we go. Let's bring that over. So this one, just keep these wrapping on the outside, so that this time this one goes over top. Over top like that. And this, you can see that they're starting to get a bit of size here. I'm not going to need the full 12 inches of wire that I cut, because I want some in order to hold the rose in the center of the hole there. Okay, we're starting to get almost big enough. Go around maybe one more time. This one went over top, so this time this one goes over top. Okay, so once I've got it big enough, I'm going to end one wire at the top and one wire at the bottom. And so then we'll just take the chain nose pliers and give it a nice curve. And this one can come around a little bit further. And give it. So I want the most of my wire at the top, so the littler one will go to the bottom, because I want to create a bail with part of that. So we'll just drop this straight down now, the bottom one. Kind of set that rose in the middle there. Maybe we'll just tuck that outside edge just a little bit. There we are. Down to the middle. And bring this guy around this way. Bring it up just to hold it for now. And this one we're going to hold to that side. Now, we don't want to just end there. That's not enough. So we'll get that centered a little bit better. There we are. I've cut another piece that's a little bit shorter, and we're going to interlock it into the outside edge of this rose and make some decorative parts with it. This one doesn't need to be quite as long. I want to bring one part up to create the bail at the top, and then this time I think I'll bring the rest of it down here. Actually, we don't need that much. I'll just bring this one around into a curve, and I'm going to cut away the excess. I don't need nearly that much. I might use that one again too. So up at the top here, we bring these two together for making the bail. And in fact, I think I'll add a third one to go to the top so that we get a 3-part bail. So we'll just bring this through the outside edge of the rose and bring that one up there. And just give it a bend to get it nice and straight there. So now I have 3 to make my bail. That I always like to use 3. I did use 2 on one of mine just for something different because I did all of the decoration on the bottom. So now that we have the pieces up at the top, I'm going to take a pen, which is a good round size for a bail, and I'll wrap these 3 pieces all around the pen to make the bail, like that. And then I've got a big gap here, so we're going to take these pieces with the chain nose pliers and bring them in together. Squeeze there. Get them in nice and snug, like so. Try and keep them nice and even. And then I'm going to put the pen back in. Oh, I pulled it in a little bit too far. After I've got that squeeze done, I'm going to maybe give it another squeeze now that I've pushed it out. There we are. And we'll take the one of the longest pieces here and use it to bind this. Bring that around there, like that. And again, use the pliers to tighten it so that you get a nice tight look. Give it a round again. 2 wraps are pretty good on that. So there we are. We've got our bail made at the top. Just maybe tuck it in a little bit here. And I'm going to finish these at the bottom now. So I can bring the pen back out. It's got my bail complete. And we'll trim that excess piece off. And then we've got that little bit there that I want to do a little tuck with. Again, your round nose pliers make a nice tuck. Get that right inside there so it's out of the way. Okay, so now we want to finish up these ones on the bottom here to make them a little tidier. And that's what I'll use the round nose pliers for. Get a hold of the end and give it a nice turn. Like that. And this one will make a little bit bigger. Give it a good turn. Like so. So now these could be bound together so that they stay a little bit more firm. And for that I use the 28 gauge wire. I've mixed the para wire and the artistic wire, and that's fine to do that. It doesn't have to be all the same brand. They both work equally well, and they can be mixed. There we are. Then at the back we've got a few pieces here that need some tidying. So I'll just lift them up so that they're easier to see. So just kind of cut that. This one can be just cut and turned under to get rid of the extra, like that. Just turn it under, come around this way and give it a little bit more turn. And this one, we'll just do a nice swirl on it and cut it. Always cut away from yourself. Don't want to have wire in your face. Let's finish that off with a nice. Now, when you're cutting these ends too, it's a good idea to try and cut them on an angle so that you don't get anything sharp coming into your face or onto your clothes as well, because it can be quite picky if it's cut straight and instead of on an angle. And no one wants to ruin their clothes with sharp pieces. Turn that under so it's nice and smooth. So there we are. Beautiful little pendant that will look good on either a chain or a cord. We'll flare these out a little bit so that they look really nice. And I've chosen this thick cord to go on it. I thought it looked really good with it. Go on like that and make a perfect pendant. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.